dead black, was shiny and smelled like the attic. Ever since Jeremiah had appeared wearing it, Sweet Gum had been glancing at him strangely, as if he weren't sure whether this was his cousin Jeremiah or some other Jeremiah. They clattered onto the bridge. "Woo-wee!" Jeremiah laughed without enthusiasm, as boards clanked and jumped behind them, and the old rusted rails jerked up as if caught by surprise. The bridge spanned nothing, just dried-up, cracked ground with dying weeds, and both men stared down at it with all their features run together into one blur of consternation. Then Jeremiah said, "All past, and they were safe again. "God taken hold of us there," Sweet Gum said, so frightened by the bridge that he forgot Jeremiah always laughed at remarks like that. But Jeremiah did not seem to notice. "God saving us for our promise," he muttered, so that Jeremiah could hear it or not, just as he wanted. Back in his mind, and even coming out when his lips moved, was the thought, "First promise to do. First promise." If the devil himself were to come and take Sweet Gum out into the desert with him, or up on a mountain or pyramid or anywhere, and tempt him to break his promise to his Uncle Simon, Sweet Gum would shout "No" at him. No, to the devil himself. As if to mock Sweet Gum's thoughts, Jeremiah twitched and rubbed his nose suddenly. "Christ, boy," he said, "I got a itch. Am I going to kiss a fool all the way out here?" Sweet Gum turned red. "You keep your goddamn kissing to yourself," he snarled, as if Jeremiah were no one to be afraid of. Had the duty of fulfilling a promise already begun to change him? He felt Jeremiah's surprise with pride. "Nobody's going to kiss me," Sweet Gum said with venom. Probably no one on Main Street in plain dealing saw Jeremiah and Sweet Gum leave, though many would see them leave for the last time a few days later. By now, Sweet Gum sat in a real sweat of anticipation, his suit drenched and his eyes squinting past a haze of sweat as if peering out of a disguise. As soon as the startling sign, "Plain Dealing," appeared by the ditch, Jeremiah said quietly, "Now, I don't want no upstart rambunctiousness ruining our plans. You remember that." Sweet Gum was embarrassed and angry, yet, at the same time, he knew Jeremiah was right. Behind Jeremiah, his family stretched out of sight, all the Koch family, grandfathers and fathers, sons, cousins, brothers, women all over. It made Sweet Gum and his mother and little brother look like a joke someone had played. Of course, maybe someone had played a joke. Sweet Gum's mother was not married, and through years of furious shame, he had gathered that his father, whoever he was not even the father of his brother. That bothered Sweet Gum as much as not knowing who his father was. They drove through town. It was larger than they had expected. The main street was wide and paved. At either side, long strips of reddish dirt stretched out to buildings and fields far from the road. There were open-air markets for vegetables and fruit and poultry, a schoolhouse without a flag on its flagpole, a gas station and general store and post office put together. Groups of boys and young men straggled about in front of this building, and Sweet Gum stared at them as if trying to recognize someone. Houses, all built up on blocks perched off the ground, and, even, catching the eye of both men, a movie house in a Quonset hut with a roof painted shiny orange and a bright poster-covered front. Sweet Gum stared as they drove by. Jeremiah shortly turned the car into a driveway. Sweet Gum wanted to grab his arm in surprise. "This place is where he stays? You found it so fast?" he said faintly. "Hell no," Jeremiah said. "Can't you read? This is a hotel. We got to stay overnight, don't we?" "Overnight?" said Sweet Gum, looking around. "You mean in a room? Somebody else's room? They fix them for you. You get the key to the door and go in and out all you want," Jeremiah said. He had parked the car on a bumpy incline before an old, wide...